Okay.
Good afternoon, grade 7. Welcome to this technology class. It's a revision class, and we'll be preparing you for our assessments that you'll be having, I think, from next week. Now, let me introduce myself. I am Auntie Lindy. I'm your technology teacher. I am very talkative. I want us to talk. So the host will allow you to unmute yourselves so that we can engage actively. Don't be afraid to speak in this class. We'll speak a lot. And in a normal technology class, we work. So we can't work. The least you can do is speak. So I'm expecting you to be interacting with me a lot. All right. I want to get to know you. And please be active, because what we'll be doing today will help us to remember what we have done in terms 1 and 2, and it will also prepare you to answer the questions in the assessments that you'll be doing. Okay, welcome back for the well-deserved rest that you had, and I hope that you did get revived and you're energetic now. And you are looking forward to engaging actively in your studies again. Okay. We are going to do the basics. I'm going to take you back and forth from term 1 to term 2, just to make a collection of all that knowledge, bring it back so that you can remember. Right. I want you to remember what you did in the very, very first lessons that you did in the first term, and then we'll come to the term 2-1. Look at this person building a shelter. Okay? Study this illustration and answer the questions. What material is being used for roofing? Because we are looking at tools and materials that people use in solving their problems in technology. What is it that this man is using? What does it look like? I think I'm getting used to this initial silence. In the other classes I've been teaching today, they start off by being silent and then they start speaking. Let me tell you again, feel free to speak. It will help you a lot to speak, because you will know how to approach the questions. Yes, Mark, unmute yourself.
Hello,
what is it? Yes?
My name is Candy, not Mark. That's my dad's name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
sorry.
okay.
You are? You are?
I said we're just answering the question term.
Yes.
Can I
What
answer
material?
The roof is used made out of straw or sticks, ma'am.
It could be straws or sticks. Yes, you're right. It could be straws or sticks. But these words that have been cut off, my picture was, I didn't do a good job here. I hope to improve in the other lessons. I'm sorry about that. What is it that he's using? It could be straws, it could be sticks. Yeah, but you can see the sticks here. The sticks here. These are
for the frame.
For the frame. And these could be straws that he's using, or it could be grass. Am I right?
Yes,
yeah, grass. Okay. And these materials, the straws and the grass, is it man-made material or natural material?
that is natural material because people cannot make grass or sticks, man. That's natural.
Yes. So it's natural materials. Okay. So can you identify any tools here? I want us, when you go into the tools, I want you to tell me what you see and what maybe you can expect. Okay. What do you think? Okay, let me start with what you see. Can you see any tools here?
Well, I'm not sure if a ladder is a tool because he's using it to get to the roof.
Okay, let me clarify this, grade 7. When we are manufacturing products, when we are making products, or when we are building things in technology to solve our problems, we differentiate between tools and materials. So I normally say, for clarity, when we differentiate between tools and materials, that which I bring and I use to make the structure that I'm making, but I can take away to make another structure that then is the tool. And that remains as part of that structure is the material. So that ladder, I can remove it and take it yet to another structure and use it to build, to climb to the roof of another structure that I can be making, right? So then it becomes a tool.
Okay.
But looking at this structure, what other tools could he have used maybe? Looking at this hut, it's a hut, isn't it?
Ma'am, he could have used nails and a hammer, ma'am, to make the frame structure of the house and roof.
Yes, hammer, but the nails, the hammer and the nail. Remember, the tool you can remove, but the material remains on the structure.
Oh, okay, so then it's just a hammer.
The hammer is the tool, and the nail becomes the material. Okay?
Okay.
So I want you to differentiate that between tools and materials. The tools you can take away and use in making another structure, but the material remains on that structure. It's a good example that you made of a hammer and a nail. The hammer is the tool, the nail is the material. Very good. Okay, tools and materials. Study the illustration and answer the questions below. What material is being used to build this house? Look at the material.
The roof looks like steel almost, like a thin sheet of steel.
Yes, like corrugated iron. I can see the corrugation there. Ne? It might be corrugated iron, steel sheets. Remember,
also wood for the frame. Also wood for the frame structure. That could be also material.
Yeah. What do you call that structure that is made up of wood that makes a roof?
I think it's either a frame structure or a cell structure.
It's a frame structure. We call it the roof. Roof what?
Let me remember now. Oh no, I forgot
roof
now.
Truss. The roof truss.
Roof truss.
Yes, roof truss. TRUSS. The roof truss. Okay. You make it with the wood, or now we even make steel roof trusses. And then that is the frame structure on which you will build your roof. Okay, that's good. And looking at this structure, what do you suppose is more materials that has been used there? What more? We identified.
Could you say it again?
What other materials have been used to build this house? We see the roofing. The The roofing is steel corrugated iron. You
Yes.
said steel, you said metal sheets, corrugated iron for the
Yes.
roofing. Roof truss made up of
Wood.
timber, or what else do you see?
Also because the base of the house could be made out of bricks and cement.
Bricks and cement, very good. Very good. It does look like bricks and cement. Look at the shape of that house. Normally it is bricks that give you that shape. Ne?
Yes.
Now, the material, looking at the material, would you say this is natural or man-made material?
This is more man-made because steel isn't naturally there. You have to make steel and cement.
Yes, it is man-made. Even the roof truss. The roof truss is of man-made or natural material?
The roof truss is natural material because it's wood.
It's wood, but let me tell you something. Ne? This timber, we can see it on that gap, the gap there, we can see this roof truss. Ne? The timber is processed. They didn't only chop off the wood from the forest and made the roof truss. They took it to the wood processing factory to make planks, and they processed these and they cut it up and made the truss. Yeah,
Okay.
it is. There has been some processing of natural materials. Natural materials have been processed to make the planks there. Okay. What tools are normally being used by people building the house?
So again, the ladder. Definitely nails.
Mm-hmm.
I mean hammer. Sorry, not nails. The nails more of a material.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't remember the name because I use this like type of tool to like put the cement onto the bricks.
Okay. The trowel. The
trowel.
Trowel.
Oh, okay.
What else? Because those corners are straight. What else do we builders use? The spirit level. Those are the tools that people use to build houses, and much more. The wheelbarrow, the shovel.
Oh, yes, wheelbarrow and all those kinds of Oh God.
Yes. You even have a mixer. You have your aggregate mixer. That big round tank that
mixes the cement.
You find it. Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen them,
probably. Yeah, but we don't see all these things on this picture. We suppose, we're just assuming that maybe those tools and materials were brought in here to build this structure. Look at this one. Tell me, have you ever seen a structure like this?
Yes, I have.
Okay. The other learners, because I want to check, I don't want this to be a bias only for some people who live in a area. Who of you can say, I have seen such a structure? I have been to a place where you find such structures. Who has seen such a structure? Who hasn't ever seen such a structure? Who hasn't got close to such a structure? Don't you want to talk to me now? Only one person has seen such a structure. Let me see how many are we in this class. 9.
Then they are typing. They're typing into the chat, ma'am.
Are they?
Yes, like there's a few, 2 people said yes, 2 people said no.
I see. Oh, so, I'm sharing your screen here, so I cannot see.
Oh,
I
okay.
cannot see the chat. All right. Now, you find where, in what areas can you find such structures commonly?
Mm.
In what areas?
In the rural area,
Yes, rural areas.
sometimes in villages,
And in informal settlements as well, ne?
yeah,
Informal
formal
settlements.
settlements.
Yes, people just set up structures for shelter. It's
Yes.
not, and they don't have proper streets and proper systems. They just set up their shelters there because they need urgent shelter. So that becomes an informal settlement. So that's where you can find structures like this. Now we took this photo from the internet, courtesy of Alarmist.org. Now, what materials have been used to build the house?
For the roof, I can see definitely straw or grass or sticks. The base of the house, bricks, like rocks or bricks. Wood for the frame structure, and like sometimes like some of there you can actually see kind of looks like almost like a plastic pole.
You can see the holes there,
Yeah.
they like, they're not really processed, are they?
Mm-mm.
It's like some tree stems, ne? Yeah,
Yes.
some, yeah. It's, and you can see the sticks and
And mud
sort
to
of
stick it together in case they don't have cement.
mad, ne? So they just probably made some mortar. When you make mortar, you just mix the sand and the water, and then you start working on that. So it's just mortar, some logs, if I may say logs, and the roofing is grass. And there are some sticks on the walls also, just to reinforce this the mud of the wall. Okay, so this is still shelter. For some people, it is shelter. Okay, what do you think are the tools that were used in building this structure?
They might have used tools, but this looks more like they used it with their hands, ma'am, because maybe they didn't have all enough money to buy enough tools, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, probably there was a shovel, maybe in a wheelbarrow. There wasn't any spirit level. There wasn't any trowel. Remember, you asked me what the tool is that you use to put the mortar on the brick, and I said it's a trowel.
Yeah.
There wasn't a trowel here. They maybe used their own hands.
Yes.
They just the mortar with their own hands. That's what I see too. Yeah, that's what I see too. So it's a proper, for me, it's a proper analysis of this structure.
Yes.
And, maybe the people who live here, they perhaps do not have enough money to make a structure like this one.
Maybe that's why they use mud instead of cement, because mud doesn't cost money, but cement costs quite a bit of money. And also the mixer to mix the cement.
They don't have those sophisticated products that are used in building proper structures. Now, this one, what can you say about this one?
This is definitely a professional people built this, because there's bricks and cement, and there's a frame structure and steel and wooden frames, a truss, I think that's what you call it again.
Mhm. Now, you have those things sticking up here. What are those
Yes, I can
things?
see. Those look like metal wires.
They are used for reinforcing. They are used for reinforcing. So this is reinforced structure. There is reinforcement. What is reinforcement? Reinforcement is what you put inside a structure to make it strong. It doesn't collapse easily. So when we make structures, we bring in materials that will strengthen the structure. So this is a steel reinforcement. It is put inside the wall here to make the wall strong. Okay. And inside there, I see, what is this? This looks like a scaffolding.
Yes, it does look like a scaffolding.
Yeah, scaffolding. Do you all know what a scaffold is? Unmute themselves so that they can speak to me. Don't just type, please unmute yourself so that you can speak to me.
He said, I'm telling them because the one student is like, oh, she isn't checking our answers. And I said, she can't see the typing.
Yes, because I'm sharing my screen. I am talking. I asked the class to unmute themselves so that you can all talk. Okay. So materials, we see, you said there's cement bricks and concrete. And we see reinforcement. There is there's a lintel, although we cannot see it. I cannot. Looking at this is used to hold up a lintel, and you normally have a lintel above these bricks, below these bricks to hold this, to hold these bricks so they collapse. Okay, it's a whole lot of things that are used by people building the house.
Definitely a mixer. No, I forgot the other name that she just told me for the cement, to put the cement on with the bricks.
The trowel.
The trowel. I keep forgetting the name.
Yeah, the trowel, the scaffolding, and probably what else? Yeah,
Wheelbarrow.
a spirit level, all the sophisticated tools to use to build a structure like this. Ne?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when you are building structures, when we engage in manufacturing, we don't just jump into the process of manufacturing. I'm not saying nobody does that, jumping into the process. But, you know, out there in the industrial world, when a company is in the business of manufacturing things, they engage in the design process or the technological process. I know you have done the technological process before. I want you to show me that you remember what are the stages of the technological process or the design process.
Stages.
Yes.
So first they have to get the design, because they have to plan all the materials that they need.
Okay.
The first planning.
If I were to give you a question for 5 marks and I say, name the stages of the design process, what would you say? What would you write down for your marks? For 5 marks, maybe?
I would have first said planning, then getting the materials.
Okay. I see you are not naming the stages, but you are describing them.
Yes.
You are the stages, but I want you to name them distinctly. I hope the rest of the class is listening to me. I want you to note this. I want to jot this down because we'll be doing it a lot with you. Ne? Okay. I want to tell you that the stages of the design process that I'm about to tell you now, they are not necessarily linear as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are 5, but they don't always follow each other like I am going to list them. One is investigate. I want you to jot that down. Investigate.
Okay.
Where you have to investigate a problem that you have been given. You have to collect information about that problem. You investigate. That's one stage. 2, you design. Imagine you are a technologist and you have a client. The client comes to you and they say they have a problem. You have investigated the problem. Then they want you to make a solution for them to solve their problem. You have to understand what the problem is, investigate it. I'm sorry. Then you have to design a solution. So the second stage is design. The first one is investigate. Then second, design. In the design stage, that is where you will be engaging the client, asking them what they want the solution to look like. What should be the size of the solution? What should be the color of the solution? Take, for instance, I want to build a house. I need shelter. Now, you want to understand me because I've shown you different types of shelters. You want to talk to me and say to me, what kind of shelter do you need? What should be the shelter for? How should the shelter be? Maybe you must build a hut for me. Did you see the picture of a hut?
Yes.
H. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Maybe all I need, or maybe I need that big double-storied house. You don't know. So you need to get into the design stage with me where I will give you specifications. The client will say, I want you to build me a big house, 5 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, 1.5 kitchen. How many bedrooms? You know, I am giving you specifications. That is the design stage. Okay. After designing, then, before I move on, in the design stage, you will be drawing, you will be sketching. Maybe I will be sketching with you as the client. You will be making freehand sketches to check with me. Is this what you are talking about? Freehand sketches, you make freehand sketches in the design stage. And
yes,
then
I remember having to do that in a project in technology.
I knew you would remember.
We had to do this life of drawers thing, and we had to do like designing and investigating and freehand sketches.
Yeah. So the first would be investigate, then we design, where we discuss the specifications, and we also do the freehand sketches so that we can agree that this is what it should look like, doing the freehand sketches. Remember, when we do the freehand sketches, that is where I will, for each and every freehand sketch, we will write down the advantages and the disadvantages of that design. You see, we write down the advantages and the disadvantages of each design. Then, if the design has more advantages and lesser disadvantages, that will be our chosen idea. Okay? I'm going through the stages of the design process with you now. Now, investigate, design. I've talked about the design. Then we choose the best idea, and then we go to the next stage of making. We are going to make the chosen idea. So the third one, the third stage would be making. Please jot that down.
Okay.
Making. In the making stage, that is where I will make the final drawing of the chosen idea. I make the final drawing of the chosen idea, and then I collect the tools and the materials. Remember, we talked about the tools and the materials. I'll collect the tools and the materials to make that product. And then I cut the materials, or I join the materials to make the product. That is where we bring in all the bricks, all the scaffolding, the wheelbarrows, the shovel, the spirit level, trowels, everything. Then we start digging up the foundation and we build the house. Then put together all the materials using the tools to make your solution, a chosen solution. Then the fourth stage would be, is anyone talking to me? The fourth stage would be what? The evaluate.
Evaluate, yes. One
Yes.
of the students just said evaluate, and then the last one, communicate.
Yes, the last one, communicate. When we evaluate is when we call the client. We look at the specifications that we did in the design stage. The measurements, because the client did tell us how big they want their solution to be. We are going to measure, is it according to the specifications? And we also check if the client is satisfied. And then we are evaluating. We are evaluating. We check each and every specification and we see if the product satisfies that specification. Okay? And after evaluation, and then that is how we communicate. Have you ever seen when you are driving around with your parents, have you ever seen a house with some posters written show house? It's a show house. Have you ever seen a show house? When we
I've
say
seen some ads, not in real life though.
Yeah, some ads, they say this is a show house. That is the communication stage of the technological process or the design process, where we present, we say, now we present our show house. We are a company that makes these houses, and already maybe that house belongs to a certain client, but we are communicating. We are saying, this is what we have made, okay? And I think at that stage, we are proud of what we have made. Because if we are not proud, happy, our evaluation stage would cause us to go back to the other stages. Remember I said the stages are not linear. They don't follow each other, because maybe at the evaluation stage, I can decide to go back to the design. When I'm evaluating, maybe the client says, no, but I said I want the pillars to be gold. Why did you make the pillars black? I told you to make the pillars gold. And I say, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said black. You see, then I go back to the design and I change something there. Then I get, yes, my darling. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, darling.
I didn't ask anything.
Do you want to speak to me? Hello.
There's other people also with their mics off them.
Their lines are off.
Mics are off, ma'am, so they can talk with you, ma'am.
They must unmute. If you want to speak, please unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Junior also unmuted them.
Let me see. If you want, raise your hand. If you can't unmute yourself, raise your hand so that we can assist you, okay? So, at the evaluation stage, I said you must be jotting down what you want to, what you didn't know about the design process. I'm explaining the design process. I want you to fully understand it, because we'll be doing a lot of things based on the design process. As you say, you do your projects using the design process at school. So at any stage, you can go back to another stage. You see, maybe I was making an example. Maybe if the client says, no, but I told you to make my pillars gold, then I have to change the color of the pillars. So I go back to the design, I change the color to the one that the client wants. You see, then I come back to evaluate. I say to the client, come evaluate. Did I do what you wanted? And they say yes, then communicate.
Okay, I get it now.
All right. Tanya, don't be shy, my darling. It's Auntie Lindy. Believe me, I'm just an auntie.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I see you're chatting a lot. Okay, but you don't have time. I hope that you still understand where we are. Okay? It's
Yes,
very
ma'am.
important, because you need to know the design process. I can ask you a question in your assessment to discuss the design process and tell me what is going on in the design process. That's very basic in technology. All right? Then communication. Then that is where we present the final product that we are proud of now to the client, and we tell them, we show them. That is where we open the house. It's a show house now, and the client is like, wow, this company builds such beautiful houses. And we show them, this is your kitchen, these are the beautiful cupboards, this is your beautiful bath, this is the living room, and we are now proud of what we have made now. We are presenting it, it's final. Because if we were not happy in the evaluation, we would go back and correct whatever mistakes that we could have made. I hope you understand that, hey? Now, read the following sentences and name the specific design process stage associated with each sentence. At this stage, one looks at the final product and evaluates it against the specification. Who can tell me what stage is this? What is the name of this stage in the design process?
The making stage.
Where you look at the final product and you evaluate it.
Stage one, look at the final product.
I said there, let us go back to the stages of the design process. I said it's investigate, design, make, evaluate, communicate. Investigate, design, make, evaluate, communicate. Those are the stages of the design process. Now, after discussing the stages of the process with you, I'm checking. Can you answer the following questions? You must just tell me which stage is it. This stage one looks at the final product and evaluates it against the specifications.
That
Which stage
is
that?
communication, I think.
But you have a clue in your question.
This stage one looks. Oh, evaluate.
My goodness. You're right. It's evaluate. At the evaluation stage, you look at the final product and you evaluate it against the specifications. Okay, tell me, which stage is it where you lay out the specifications? Which stage? Can you name that stage?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes?
It's communication.
No. Communication?
Yes, ma'am.
No. It is the second one.
Oh,
It is the second one. I said the first one is investigate, the second one is design. It is in the design stage where you set out your specifications. Remember, I said in the investigate stage, you must investigate all the information, gather all the information that relates to the problem. Remember? Okay. Now, the stage of gathering information about an identified problem. Which one is that? I've just told you the answer.
Okay. Isn't that investigating?
Yes, that is the investigation stage, where you gather information about an identified problem. I hope you understand that. Right. At which stage do you draw freehand sketches?
The design stage?
Yes, very good. You draw freehand sketches at the design stage. At which stage do you join materials to make the product?
The making stage.
The making stage. You join the materials to make the product. But remember, in the making stage, that is also where you draw the final drawing. We call it the working drawing. The final drawing or the working drawing, you draw it in the making stage. Let me tell you, I want you to jot this down in your notebook. The things that you do in your making stage. You draw the final drawing or the drawing. 2, you draw up a cutting list. Cutting list, what is a cutting list? It is a list of tools and materials to make the product. 3, you make a plan or a flow chart of how you are going to make the product. Okay? That is where you have your management plan to say, from tomorrow or from Friday, we are going to deliver the bricks. You get the delivered. And then after that, we are going to get the sand and stone. That kind of management plan, you have it in the making stage. And then you have the making itself, the joining of materials to make the product. Okay? Yeah, I thought that we must emphasize the design process in this lesson, because throughout technology, we use the design process a lot. Sometimes we don't use the whole design process, but sometimes we do use aspects, some stages of the design process, okay? Do you want to ask me anything before we close? Let me look at my children again. Junior.
Ma'am.
How are you, my son?
I'm fine, ma'am.
I'm fine too. Do you understand the design process?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm happy. Can you discuss it? Can you remember what happens at each stage?
Yes, ma'am.
Please, yeah, go over that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mark DeConnick, who's Mark DeConnick? Mark?
Yes, sir.
Hi. Is that Mark?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, Mark?
I'm good, ma'am.
I'm good, thanks. Did you understand the design process?
Yes, ma'am.
The difference between tools and materials?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm happy. I'm happy. Okay. I want to get to know you guys. Tanya.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know the design process now? Do you know the design process?
Not really, ma'am.
You must study it again. It's not difficult to know. Just that you have to remember these stages and remember what happens in those stages. Ne?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Tanya. All right, I have to love you and leave you now. Grade 7. We'll meet again tomorrow. Okay? Yes. Thank you very much.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.